everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the GVGCast, where we hang out, chat with all of you, and see what's been happening over the past week. I'm your returning host out of nowhere, Derek Bittner, and I am joined by my good friend here, Daniel Alba. How is everyone doing this evening? How are you doing, Daniel? It has been a while. It feels like I haven't seen everybody in a long time.
We're all a bit scattered right now, but that's because we have a lot of important life stuff to take care of. Brandon's busy with a lot of work and clients right now beyond GVG. Steve has a lot of life stuff happening that he'll talk about once he's ready to do so. And
Mhm.
Ash is away doing, well, doing more important things at the moment as well. So it's hard to kind of get a group together sometimes on Fridays,
Mhm.
but we do what we can. Last week, I literally had a dentist appointment at the time of GVG Cast. They kind of just throw the card at me and say, "Okay, here's your appointment." I'm just like, "Okay," and I didn't know it was gonna be on a Friday for this last time,
It's
so
so
that's
weird.
just
Usually, they go over a few dates. Like, is this? They'll choose one. Is like, is that okay? And you're like, I don't know if that works for me. And you can do the next. Like they'll have like, oh, what about this one? It's that's so odd. It's just like, no, here you go. This is what you got to do.
pretty much. I mean, they're very good dentists. I've never had I've never really had much dental problems at all. I tell
Oh,
them
that's good.
I tell them no. They asked me like, "You had great braces before?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't." And then they look appalled, like, "You, how dare you, with your teeth looking the way they do?" Um, but yeah, it's been pretty much just doing that lately and other stuff with life. But I've been able to make it this week. So hello everyone, good to see you this time.
Yeah. My whole thing is that Amy is helping out our oldest Chase with band, and so of course they have the games on Friday and the Friday nights, so she'd be off doing that,
Hmm.
and I'd have to take care of Kai, and Kai struggles going to sleep. He is not always
Uh,
ready for bed. He'll go to sleep, but by the time he is asleep, it's like 30 or 40 minutes past start time, and doesn't really work. So that's why I can't really uh, join a lot of the times. It's just like, well, I got to get the kid to bed because he won't let me do this otherwise. That's for sure.
yeah, we definitely try to cover each other when we can, where we can. That's just been our whole thing here. But yeah, I'm glad you could be here this time. I would have just it would just been me doing a GVG cast, which I'm not opposed to doing. I'll do it myself
I,
if I need to. But
yeah,
yeah,
I gotta pressure Ash to do something because back in the old place, I did solo podcasts 3 times and I handled it just fine. I talked for an hour and a half or however long it was. It's fine. He just decides to play Mario Kart,
I
which is
remember
fine.
I remember listening to those. I was just in my car on the way to my job back and forth on the freeway and heavy traffic that would put me to sleep. But thankfully, the not the Real Talk podcast was there to keep me awake. And I remember those episodes where you just flew solo, and I was like, could I ever talk to myself for about an hour or so? And at this point, I probably could. Like, if we have the news topics here, I could probably at least chat up with chat in Twitch and our live audience if need to be.
Oh yeah, I think you could pull it off. You're in a much easier time because I had to do it without a live audience. I had to do it with just the questions we got. So I would just go and just figure out a way to do it. It's challenging, but it's a lot easier when you have that instant interaction. And that podcast was my baby. I was really dedicated to that thing. I don't know how it ended up being my baby, but it did. So it just sort of took over. Um,
I kind of feel that it's sort of me with the Good Vibes Arcade at this point because it was usually just me and
mhm.
Brandon for the longest time, but he became a dad. He got other jobs to do on the same time. He's super busy right now, so it's we're lucky to get him on anything at this moment, at least in this point in time. So I kind of feel that same way for our own like this exact Twitch channel right now. So I get that feeling.
Yeah, it's amazing how you do something for long enough, you sort of take possession of it. It's like, no,
Hmm.
this is my thing. I like what I do here. So,
Yeah.
oh goodness. But yeah, I mean, what have you been up to? What have you been playing?
Oh, it's been a lot of um here and there with Mario and Luigi Brothership at the moments, and it's been interesting to see so many people's opinions thus far. Earlier today, I put a post on Blue Sky. where I'm asking everyone to give me like their opinions as far impressions. You don't have to be like you don't have to be in the game or anything, but impressions, thoughts, any hot takes, positive, negative comments on it, and your overall like rating out of 10 thus far, so I can like compile that to a video later. I do want to make a
Mhm.
video on like the Blue Sky reviews series of videos. I don't know if I'll call it a series, but at least do it for this video and see how it does. And yeah, I'm
Shorten it to BS reviews.
yeah, pretty much. VS reviews is pretty much what it's going to be called. Um, but I'm hoping to get some good opinions on that. I've seen a lot of good and valid takes on both ends of both ends of the arguments, and I'm curious to see what people think about the whole overall thought of this thus far, because it's been so divisive. From it
Mhm.
all started with that IGN review of 5 out of 10, and people were like, "Is it really that bad?" And people are just completely against it or being like, "Oh yeah, no, they had a point there." So I'll
Mhm.
be organizing those very soon, and I'll be hopefully making a video for some time next week on that. But otherwise, personally, I've been enjoying it. And some of the problems that people have with it, I don't really see it. But maybe that's also me who's been a purist since Superstar Saga on the Game Boy Advance, like playing it
Mhm.
physically on my Game Boy Advance. I've been a fan of this series for a very long time. And it's
Same.
had some ups and downs, more downs recently in some cases than ups, but I think this is a pretty good, fairly competent return to form in the long run. I think we'll still be talking about this as a good return to the Mario and Luigi series as a whole. But I mean, there's some people
Mhm.
that have their issues with it, and that's understandable. Reviews are not meant to be the end
End
all,
all
the
be
be
all.
all, pretty much of opinions on there.
They
So,
they they used to hold a little bit more power. I think they still hold some power, but it's more as a kickoff of a starting point of like how people are going to discuss things, and then just go from there. Like,
mhm.
here's your starting point. What do we do from this point on? And sometimes that opinion changes. Most infamously with God Hand, because that got terrible reviews, and then people actually played. It's like, no, this is actually really good. And you read the reviews, like they play beyond the third level. Like it makes no sense, like what they're talking about, because there's so much more than they really show, and it's unfortunate, but that's sort of where I think a lot of the distrust of games media started coming in. Because there was
Mhm.
a while there's a lot of people that just did not trust game media, and I just don't. I d- I always resisted that because well, I was also part of it, and I understood. I could see where the actual game media was working and what they did and what they had to do, and no, their opinions were definitely uh you well almost usually well informed. There's definitely some bad actors out there, but there are certainly some poor ones just in the general sphere.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I feel like the main one that people look at these days are like, I guess, the Metacritic to see how the overall opinion
yeah,
here or there, more or
average.
less. And Mario and Luigi has like a 79 on Metascore, which is it's a good game. There has its issues, of course, but um, I guess it depends on the player how much those issues will matter to you. And I guess I'm just easy to please.
I mean, I finally did uh I play it a little bit today, and I mean a little bit. So
Hmm.
um I did not get the game myself, but our son Ryan wanted to pick it up, so he used his own allowance to get the game and allowed me to try it out while he was at school. And I thought, like, okay, lately one of the ways I've been getting Kai to go to bed is actually reading the old Super Mario Adventures comic to him. He loves
Oh,
that thing.
yeah.
He has specific sections he really enjoys, and he'll want a few chapters each night. And it's just what we've been reading. It's all he wants. He loves his Mario. So I'm like, you know what? I bet Brothership would work in the same way. They got nice, fun animated sequences that he can pull in, enjoy just on its own. And then I could read all the dialogue to him to see if, it would kind of click and kind of get him lost in that world. As soon as gameplay started, he wanted the controller to play. Like he wanted it. Um, He wanted to touch it. It's like, okay, well, I've completely lost this game at this point. I'm not going to get to play much. And but it was also fascinating where he's like watching him run around and see what he was doing. He went into his first battle and he couldn't get the timing for doing the multiple jumps thing, but
Mhm.
he got the dodging right on those seedling enemies, and was
Oh
able.
wow.
That's how he killed them because he was just able to jump on them in that way. Um, I posted a little bit of him playing it on Blue Sky. Uh, so he loves running around in that game. He loves doing the Luigi calls where Luigi makes a weird sound. He thinks it's really funny. Um, but I've not gone beyond that. I basically have helped him with a few puzzles and battles, and that's about it. But
Okay.
when I played, I mean, I saw complaints about the load times, and maybe it's worse later, but I didn't find it to be that bad for loading into battle.
I think the worst load times, when I would even begin to notice at all, would be going from like a major area from the ship shape to somewhere else. Like loading an
Mhm.
entire area, that's probably the longest load times. I don't understand why people are so upset with the battle load times. I don't really see it. I mean, sure, there's some load times, but it's not long enough that I'm just like, man, I really wish I wasn't wasting my time here or anything. But that could
Yeah.
just be me. I don't know.
Or you're like, I don't even want to get into a battle. Like, no, it's fine.
I don't mind it at all. But that's just one of the things that's just like depending on how what kind of player you are, that might be a huge detriment to you, or it just might not matter like us to us in general. But
Mm.
yeah, it's interesting how kids react to these games when you introduce them. Because I tried to show my sisters Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door when the remaster came out, and
Mhm.
I was pretty much it's kind of hard to play games around with her mom around because it's just like, why are you wasting your time playing games? But also I'm just like, but wait a minute, they're learning some good reading comprehension here, so I have them read and voice out everything for me instead of me reading
Mhm.
it to them. Or no, we'll assign each other characters and we'll just
Oh,
voice
that's
those
cute.
characters instead. And we haven't gotten very far, but because it's kind of hard to find time to do so, but it's a fun way to experience that with them. They do check out a little bit more with the gameplay, so it's like it's funny how the kids can be opposite in that way, where it's like, oh, they want to read the story instead of actually play it instead. But yeah,
It's really funny.
it just depends what how what interests them the most, and it sounds like Kai is going to be a major player as time goes on.
Yeah, I'm like trying to read it to him as he has the controller and he's just jamming the A button, not caring what they're saying. Like, oh.
Aw.
The other funny thing to me is that he got to the save point and he had to fill up every slot with a save point. So I'm gonna have to use a completely different profile if I find time to play that on my own
Oh, jeez.
because he is he is just completely took it taking that file over. Whereas like I could start a new save file, but he'd overwrite it. So that's like, nope, not even risking that. That's
No, no, not at
dangerous.
all. Too scary. When once they learn, they learn too much at this point. It's just like my whole entire profile is in danger now. Don't put them into the settings.
It's amazing. I've actually got an appreciation for those easier game modes more so now watching Kai play because he was trying out 3D Mario 3D World, kind of getting used to that. Could run around in 3D just fine and whatnot, but
Mhm.
it seemed to struggle in some respects. So I'm like, maybe it'll be a little simpler for him if I try to reintroduce him to Mario Wonder, as he likes playing Mario Run. Well, that was just a ticket. He loves it. He has all those characters that he can switch between, which he is just in love with. And he's realized that if he plays as Yoshi, he doesn't take damage. So, other than pits and whatnot. So, he has actually gone through and played a good chunk of that game all on his own without my help, like only needing my help a little bit here and there. And it's like, huh, well, that's cool. It's just seeing him click with that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we also tried to play some Mario Brothers Wonder, and I guess it's just they didn't want to play as Yoshis because they could play as the princesses because that's what younger sisters will
Yeah.
want to do instead, and they're like,
Uh,
but I want to be Daisy. And it's just they don't really comprehend that playing as Yoshi you don't get hurt, but playing as the princess is a little bit more difficult. But
Mhm.
I think it's worth it to see them kind of learn as they go along and adjust to this. I feel like I'm also like the honorary dad here, but not really at GVG because I do have younger children that live here, but I'm not their parental figure, so it's kind of an odd situation that but at least we
You
can
got
still
you got the good the uncle position where, or I guess, well, brother in your position, but like that's how I was with my sisters when with their kids, where it's like I don't have any responsibility, but I get to show them fun things.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I'm glad that there's a lot of people that have been enjoying Mario and Luigi. I've been hoping I didn't. A year ago you wouldn't have been able to convince me that this was a series that was going to come back, especially when you already
No.
had Mario RPG release, or yeah, Mario RPG and Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door announced at this time last year, and we're just like, oh, I guess that's where they're going with the RPG series. But no, they're gonna make a whole new Mario and Luigi title. So I've always wanted them to hopefully at some point, and I talked to Brandon and John about this earlier this week too. Like, if they can just combine the best elements of each of these series into one thing, where it has like Mario and Luigi,
Mm,
but it's like a Paper Mario style format with partners and sort of thing.
mm,
I've always conceptualized like it's Mario and Luigi, and they both have a partner that's out, so it's four people in a battle, and you can still do like counters like it's Mario and Luigi, but you're doing action commands like it's Paper Mario, and there's like the audience like Paper Mario as well. So it's just there's so much that they can do with this because I'm wondering where they're gonna go now because they have all these different options. Like they could do a sequel to
oh
the
no.
Mario and the Mario RPG. They could do a new Paper Mario or keep doing more with Mario and Luigi. I don't know. It's crazy where the series is
Yeah,
now.
it's shocking how I revived all three RPGs really, all
The
three styles. So it's did not expect that, but hey, I'll take it at the very least. Um,
Dad Alpha Line put in chat Paper Mario Brothers, and I've actually made a logo for that. I made a mock-up logo for the Paper Mario Brothers concept a while back, and I'm just like, hey Nintendo, if you need a logo, I got you already.
perfect. Um, we did have another big release this week, but I've not been able to pick it up yet. Have you gotten Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D?
I am going to. I swore I will, but oh my goodness, a lot of RPGs right now.
Yep, that's for sure. I have not touched Metaphor once, so I don't even have it. But
uh,
yeah, there's a lot.
I had to stop Metaphor to play Mario and Luigi, so I had a valid opinion in time because more people are playing Mario and Luigi than Metaphor, unfortunately.
Oh, that is a shame.
But
Maybe we'll get the maybe it'll get that recognition as time goes to come Game Awards. So
yeah,
I have a
Jeff
feeling it'll do all right at Game Awards.
Jeff's gonna release the nominees soon, and if I don't see Metaphor on certain categories, I'm gonna have a fit.
Oh boy, as far as that goes, I've heard he's hiding. He's no longer showing who is doing the voting. So
Oh
he's like
really?
hiding even more elements. So
Hmm.
I don't know. There's something about
Jeff?
Jeff Keighley. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's like, is this really our best representative to get a bunch of like awards and stuff?
I
I feel
just
like it
don't
should be separate.
I just don't want a thing like last year where we have to wrap it up in like 30 seconds to a minute with
Exactly.
these people that worked so hard to get recognized for only a moment, for even maybe a moment in time, because they'll do like a sizzle reel of awards, so to speak, and then they'll do like a bigger
Mm,
one in between the ads, the promotions, the world premieres, and interviews. So
yeah. Gotta
it's
do those big money makers rather than actually celebrate the people who make these games. God forbid they get even the slightest amount of recognition.
I'm gonna. I want to do this last year, but at this point, maybe I'm gonna like set a timer for how much time is actually spent on the games and how much is spent on like trailers and
Ooh.
everything else. I want to measure the ratio for this year, and I'll see if I can find a way to do that effectively.
Yeah, you have to have like two separate timers going on, but that would be fascinating to see how much time is dedicated to each one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
Hmm.
look forward to that, everybody, when me and Steve show up in a suit on stream.
Oh, perfect. Um, I will say what I have been playing a little bit off and on when I get the chance. Uh, I finally tried out Vampire Survivors. Have you played
Oh,
that game at all?
I have not played the actual Vampire Survivors, no.
So it's basically a roguelite where you have all these different characters, and all you do is just move around the map. Like it auto attacks at all times. As you defeat enemies, they drop little crystals. You pick up those crystals, you get levels. Then boss monsters show up, you defeat them, you get chests. And by finding combinations of different weapons available and the little accessories that like increase your area of effect, increase your the speed of your um, attacks and so forth, you'll be able to evolve them eventually because those you choose which of your weapons to level up and get better. And basically, you're never going to win because it only has there's after 30 minutes, death shows up and just kills you immediately. But it's the idea of by doing these various things in each of the levels and with each different characters and with different weapons, you unlock further things, which just leads to this just endless well of, oh, I want to try this. Okay, I'm going to try this out. I'm going to try this out just to unlock it all. It becomes this really addictive loop. And it has gotten super addictive because I was enjoying it before, but then the Castlevania DLC came out. And that's the whole
Oh.
reason I picked up in the first place. And oh my God, it's so good. Like it is like perfect love letter um to Castlevania. Uh
Here's
it's all okay.
here's the funny thing. I've not played Vampire Survivors, but have you heard of a game called Holocure?
I feel like I have, but I don't know
So
what it is.
so for those in the know, there is a the cover core has Hololive, which is a whole branch of VTubers essentially, and a lot of dedicated people who some who worked on games before. They've made a game called Holocure, which is basically Vampire Survivors but with cute anime idols. It's the exact same format, and the entirety you can unlock these characters through like a gotcha. It's in-game currency, so it's nothing. They don't make any money on this at all. It's totally free. You can
Right.
just play the game and just you can unlock the VTubers that way, and it's the same format. You start playing it, it's basically Vampire Survivors but a lot cuter. The character, oh no, the main lead behind this, Ku or Caillou, they've worked on games like River City Girls, for example. So the art style,
Oh,
the pixel art style is like super reminiscent of a game like River City Girls if you've played that game before. And
yes.
it's just as fun as and addictive as you're saying. And they're gonna come out with the point 0.7 update, which is all on Steam. That's gonna come out soon. And like it's very addictive. I've seen a lot of people that have gone into Hololive because of that. And it's really funny that these two are kind of interlinked with each other at times. I'm tempted to do a video on it and expose myself for how much I indulge in this. But yeah, it's so funny because like if you don't need to know the characters or anything, but if you do
Mm,
know like all the upgrades, all the weapons and the little power-ups you can get, they're references to like the community and whatnot.
of course.
And so,
It's the same thing with a
hmm
lot of the characters for Castlevania.
yeah.
Like the one I just unlocked and played a little bit of was Richter, and he has all of his like his animations are very simple, but he has like projections of his various special moves from the game going out to do extra damage to the enemies, and
hmm
it's just fun in that way. And all I'll say is that Vampire Survivors itself is like $5 or $7, not that much. And then the Castlevania DLC is another like $4 or
hmm
$5. There is so much content, more content than you would think. Like they show off the
Really.
Castlevania characters. All I'll say is that once you do a certain thing with Richter, which I was trying to do tonight and I messed up on, um, it blows up in a way that you that is incredible, especially as a Castlevania fan.
That's
So
so cool.
yeah,
Yeah, it looks like yeah, these are two ends of the spectrum if you want to get into this style of game. You want to play like vampire style or Castlevania themed ones, you can play Vampire Survivors. Or if you want the cute version, that's with a bunch of VTubers that are trying to um I I guess like purify the fans that have turned against them. That's basically what the plot
oh my
is.
god.
It's a very all of VTubers have like a fan name and they're represented by a character like a mascot, and so that's what you're fighting of across all different generations from the the English branch, the JP branch, the Indonesian branch. It's really funny. But yeah, I'm it's I want to check out Vampire Survivors, especially now if it has Castlevania in it, because that's definitely as I've been introduced to this to that genre of game, it's very addictive, and I'm also worried about my productivity if I do get into it.
It's very easy to go into because you start out a few runs. When I first started, it's like, oh, I last about 5-10 minutes. Now I can hit the 30-minute mark every time, no issue. Like it's very rare. I don't make it just because I've increased my abilities so much. So
hmm
um I just kind of dig it. It's still fun to just pull that stuff off. Um yeah, I that's been the big thing I've played. I'm trying to think of other stuff I've played a bit, but yeah, that's not as
Yeah,
much. I'm trying to think of other stuff like it's yeah.
it's hard to find
Just yeah,
time. I was
it is. It is. I'm always trying to get other stuff done at the same time, so it's tricky.
yeah, I was grinding out for that Nintendo Music video as well. So that ate up a lot of my time during the last weekend, leading all the way up to that release on Monday or Tuesday, one of
Mm,
those days. Um, which I'm glad I still did it, because if you haven't watched it, I'm crediting as many or hopefully all the composers that the actual app itself doesn't credit in there. And well, the funniest thing was that like halfway through that video, before I started to talk about the Switch games, because that's like pretty much half of the app itself, I did a
mm.
little intermission harsh portion where it's like, you remember in Wii Sports where the screen would come up and said, "You've been playing for a while. Why not take a break? You can go outside or
Uh,
something. You can pause the game or whatever." And so I did an intermission with the music playing in the background from Wii Sports that says like, "You've been watching this video for a while. Why not hit the pause button and subscribe to GVG?" And in the next 2 days, they released the Wii Sports soundtrack on
oh
Wii Music.
it's
It's like I
amazing.
it's like I called it.
You called it. You summoned it. That's just all. That's the only thing that could be laid out there. You just summoned it.
Yeah, I had my just a small gag. I had my Wii remote and I pressed the button to advance it so we can get back to the video. It's just
Mm.
it's a long video. It was a lot of work to put that together, but
Oh, I
it's
bet.
fun to do.
I bet. Um, I have not been able to watch it myself, but I did see that a new gameplay trailer was released for um Tales of Grace's
Graces.
F remastered.
Yeah,
Have you watched that?
it says new, but I feel like I saw that one already where it just but this is just the one that it will uploaded for the Nintendo of America
Oh,
accounts.
so
I think it went
it might just be old stuff. It's just like, yeah, it's coming to Switch, that
it's
sort of
coming
thing.
to Switch. It's highlighting like new features, like how you can turn off enemy encounters, how you can uh so what was the other bit? There's a lot of little features that they've added there. DLC, pretty much all the bits of DLC, like 80 portions of DLC was added on there. Like I'm assuming like your
Jeez.
item bonuses, the legacy costumes from past Tales characters, or that's always a thing in pretty much every Tales game.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, just like battle functions and mechanics. You can retry a battle if you lose at this point. So it's just catching up with modern
Do
times
they have
essentially.
better tracking of side quests?
Yeah, that's always nice
Bec-
and favorable.
because oof, I have, I'm playing through, I'm streaming Tales of the Abyss, and I mean, so often people are like, at this point, go to talk to this person. I'm like, how would you know this?
I had
How would
a
you figure this out on your own?
I had a strategy guide for that back in the it's somewhere in storage, and that was very helpful because there were a lot of titles and alternate costumes. Like I love some of the costumes that they get later on, but I would have never known to get them if they didn't say, okay, but for when from this town, before you go to the next area, go back to this beginning area and talk to this person, and then you can keep going forward. There's like some ultimate weapons and such and other side quests that
Mm,
don't follow through unless you talk to the right person at the right time. And it's a bit archaic back then. So that's something that I'm glad that a game like Graces will kind of ease up on. And if we ever get a remake for Abyss, that'll be something that would definitely benefit from that as well.
for sure.
I hope you've
Sure.
been enjoying the game though.
I have been. I've been really intrigued by it. It's been fun to see Luke evolve. Because I didn't find Luke as bad as some people did, but it's been still interesting to see him make that attempt to change.
I think as an
Um,
adult, people can handle Luke a bit better because they're like, oh, he's just a kid.
yeah,
He's kind of a brat, but he's not like a terrible person. He's just kind of really rough around the edges in some cases. Um,
yeah.
yeah, as Classic in chat is saying, I never hated Luke. I never think I ever hated him either. He was kind of funny, honestly,
It,
in some cases, just because of
yeah,
how much he contrasts. Like the Tales of the Abyss is like a story of five highly competent generals or leaders raise one child, basically. And it's funny in comparison.
here
Like you get a game like Tales of Berseria, which is like five criminals raise one child. That's like the same concept in that game. But
it's
I
amazing.
I appreciate Luke for what he is, and I'm glad you're at the point where you can start to see how he evolves as a character, like really deeply. And
Mm.
there's some pretty heavy moments that
The,
come up later on too, which I don't know how far you're at,
the
but
the last thing I did was I I can't remember the exact moment, but I'm pretty sure the last major thing I did was rescued the people of Saint Bernard. With I got my
mm,
um flying
oh,
machine.
okay. Oh, gotcha. So now you're flying
Yep, I'm flying now, and
at the
had
Albior.
to I had to laugh at the fact that it's like, oh gosh, these people are in danger. We got to go to this other place in order to save them because they have a few days until it's truly the end of the line. So that's your excuse, and like, oh
Yeah.
cool, I'm gonna go do these side quests, or there's these block pushing mini games that I can take care of along the way. So it's like, are we meant to do something? Nah, they'll be fine.
They'll be okay. We have the Albior. We can get there whenever we want. It's fine.
It's all good.
Sumo saying you just finished Shuri Hill. Oh, okay, I see. I'm sorry I haven't caught up on those. It's been hard
Oh,
to
it's fine.
get get
I
all sorted with things
I
lately.
I get the sense that I'm still like, if probably at best 30-35% through the game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds about
I,
right,
I
I
don't
think.
know. I have no idea. I figured you
If you
would know, like hear that and decide, but
Well, I
I
guess
have no
if you
idea.
have the Albior, if you can fly, you're more than halfway, I think. It's been a moment for me too.
Well, the thing with it's getting to me is that they have a whole list of like all the towns like in on the map,
Hmm.
and they're just in question marks until you actually go to them. But I'm noticing that I think I've almost seen every town in the world right now, which is like weirding me out. It's like, man, how often do you revisit places? There's still a lot of
Hmm.
dungeons for me to go to, but towns are like drying up. I'm like, what the heck? So it's one of those things where I'm just curious about how that's all going to go down.
Yeah, I think there's still new places that you'll come across and find. I don't know if they put dungeons as that as well, or if it's just towns. But yeah, there's a lot of story that happens outside of towns. So I think you're still got a lot to explore as of yet. But yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it's a very it's still one of my favorite Tales games, and I'm glad there's more people that are able to check it out at this point. And
People
I
here I'm playing that game and they get so excited.
really, oh man,
uh,
all this time I haven't streamed a single. I guess I technically streamed the Tales game on Good Vibes Arcade when I was checking out Symphonia's problems and if they fixed them or not. But I haven't really streamed a Tales game like from start to finish at this point. They take a very long
mm,
time, so who knows when I'll finally do
it
one.
would. It was Grace of F. Grace is F. Just waiting right there.
Oh boy, that's true. But aside from that, I wanted to know if you had any opinions on the news this week. We had a Nintendo Direct this week. There wasn't anything game related released or announced. It was
No.
about Donkey Kong and Super
Yeah.
Nintendo World. from what you checked out, if you have checked it out, what do you think of that so thus far?
I have not gotten to see a ton of it, but the little clips and whatnot that I've seen so far, I mean, the theming is still on point, without a doubt. I love that they have animatronics there. That is a great touch. That I hope they, use of animatronics is always a good thing, and it really helps you get into that world. Like, yes, yes, give me a Cranky Kong that berates me. That's
Hmm.
that's the best. Have him have the cane out so we could do the little stock footage, the stock rotation from Donkey Kong Country 1 that he beats you with the cane. um, and I know we didn't get to see the cart ride, the mine cart ride, but I am excited for that. And it's also exciting the fact that that is just naturally going to be part of Nintendo World in Universal Florida as well. So
Oh,
yeah,
I wanna pet Squawks. He looks so good as a little animatronic. I'm glad he got the honor of being a animatronic as well, along with Cranky Kong.
yeah.
Um, Cranky looks really good, like like so natural sitting there. And even the DK suit, it looks amazing. The fur on that thing is incredible. And he
It's
looks like
awesome.
so big, and it was so wholesome to just see Miyamoto doing like his vlog of the theme park while going around and just checking everything out. Um,
I- I'm sure it has interactables with the wrist thing. Like I'm sure they showed that off.
yeah, there's like I guess you can get the Kong letters with your wristband and find them around the park. So maybe you can get a one up and other things that
Oh
they'll
my
have
gosh.
add on there. But yeah, as Chad is saying, it's unfortunate that it's basically mostly on Donkey Kong Country Returns, which means nothing really from the rare era. Like there's no K. Rool, there's no Kremlings. Really the only rare content we have there are the characters themselves, like Diddy Kong, Dixie Kong, and whatnots. And so yeah, it's unfortunate, but like I guess that's just a licensing thing that we don't understand.
For whatever reason, we just can't. Just they don't want to use the Kremlings, so oh
That would
well.
that would have been that would have
It's
been
been how many
iconic.
years? I guess I have to accept it.
Yeah, we got like I guess we got Funky Kong's flying by, but we don't know if Funky Kong's actually gonna be there. We don't see him in the actual thing. Um
That'd be great if they have a surf shop, or for the American audience, they could have his gun store from DK64.
oh my gosh, with the
Have
heavy
Funky
artillery.
Kong going around in camo.
It'd be amazing. Yeah, the it looks so it looks so nice there though. Like it's a good compliment to Super Nintendo World. Obviously when you look at all the
Mm,
stuff that's there, you probably wouldn't spend like your entire day in the Donkey Kong portion, but you're not meant to. You're meant to kind of explore Nintendo World and this one too, because
mm,
I've been just to the one in Universal Studios in Hollywood thus far. I went earlier this year, and it's small, but there's like a lot of stuff you can do within the park itself. Like we don't have
mm.
like the Yoshi ride like they do in Japan, but we have the queue. We do have the queue for the Yoshi ride, which is kind of funny. When you're waiting to go
Oh,
to the Mario Kart ride, you go through a section that looks like Yoshi's Island, and there's like TV screens, and there's Yoshis that kind of look at you and they say hello and they walk past by. Very cute, but yeah,
mm.
unfortunately, we don't have that. We don't have the actual ride here, so um, Universal Studios in Hollywood is getting the short end of the stick. We're not going to get Donkey Kong as Orlando is, but for those that are going to be able to enjoy it, it's less than a month in Japan. It's crazy. They're going to
Yeah,
be
it's
open
soon,
very soon.
and should be in the States. I forget when Epic is opening, the
Hmm.
Universal Florida whole thing, because from all the preview stuff that's been coming out of that, it's looking like a true competitor to Disney World,
Dang.
with the rides they're setting up and the potential it has and just the variety. Like Nintendo World definitely complements that whole thing where you can, yeah, it might not be as ton of stuff to do in the Nintendo World section, but hey, there's these other sections that you can go to based on the classic Universal monsters or How to Train Your Dragon and so forth.
Mhm.
And that sort of helps expand what it's able to do. Um, Did they show? I think I heard that they and talked a little bit about the food that'll be available.
Did you
Uh,
see did you see the Donkey Kong hot dog?
no, I did not see the Donkey Kong hot dog. What is? I was not expecting hot dog at the end of that sentence. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
I'm
you
expecting
haven't heard of
like
the
a lot of
donkey
different
dog?
banana meals. The donkey dog. Oh no.
Um, if you I think if you search it up, if you just search Donkey Kong hot dog, you'll get images. Like, I think the first images you'll
Oh
see
no.
is with, it's like on a bun where there's like the stylized, etching on the bread itself, and you can see Donkey Kong and Diddy in the back of there. But it's like it's got what is that on it? There's like a few chips on it. I think there's like a
What
avocado
in
cheese
the
on it.
a special type of hot dog? I'm hold on. What in the world?
What is on this
I don't want
anyways?
to. I don't want a video. Don't give me a YouTube video. I want a article. Okay.
Give me that
Oh my
tasty
god. The
tasty
the the
treat.
the the whatever the parfait ice cream thing is in the Donkey Kong barrel cup. I want that. That thing looks amazing.
It does look good, and I want to keep that Donkey Kong barrel cup afterwards. Looks amazing.
Yeah.
That's the DK Crash Sundae, inspired by the moment DK throws the the barrel and it breaks. Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's see here. I see a clip here of inspired by the way Donkey Kong throws barrels and how they break in games.
Mm.
DK Wild Hot Dog,
Ah, the
special
wild
type of
dog.
hot dog with avocado sauce.
That's the one. Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess yeah, there's some chips on there. It strangely sounds very
Honestly,
Hispanic.
yeah. Honestly, I'd eat it. I'd try both of those.
That's a lot of meat sticking out on both ends. I'll tell you what, right now. You can take that out
Yeah,
of
it
context if you want.
looks like a hot dog with a like some pepper and Doritos on it.
Those pretty much are Doritos, aren't they?
Yeah, they're pretty much Doritos. They just and they have special burn marks on the side. But no, I want that whatever that DK cup thing is. I want that. That's where it's at. The crushed sundae. That thing looks friggin' delicious.
Hang on, for anyone that
I'm also
doesn't
an
know
ice
what
cream
this looks
fiend,
like.
so
There's probably some folks that don't know what this looks like. So here's the donkey dog right here. Behold. Would you eat this, chat?
behold.
Are you hungry yet? Would you have this for $15 hot dollars or more? Probably more than that, maybe.
Oh God, who knows how much they charge for those?
There's as I said, look at all that meat sticking out on both ends. There's a lot of dog on this hot dog. Why is the bread go so short?
I, that's the Japanese. There, I have noticed that there is a major difference between Nintendo World food in Japan compared to Nintendo World food in the States.
Mm-hmm.
Japan is absolutely higher quality.
That's what I've heard too. I unfortunately didn't even get to go to like the Toad Cafe because there was no room for
Oh,
reservation by the time we went. Because my mom, it was me and my mom. We wanted to kind of see everything because we hadn't been to Universal Studios in so long, and
hmm.
Nintendo World kind of was just at the back, kind of the back end of the park, so we didn't really get there soon enough to make like reservations or whatnot. But I did get my power band, so
Well, that's something at
that's
least.
my gold one, by the way. I will tout that thing.
Ooh,
I don't think they're on sale anymore. The anniversary, whatever, gold ones, for the Mario band is no longer there. So yeah, but you can now get the Donkey Kong or Diddy Kong wristband when you go there too. So gotta go
hey,
back and
hey,
collect them all.
did he getting some love? Oh yeah, I found a set of pictures from it all, and um, the store is very cute. All the DK merchandise. That's the most
Hmm.
DK merchandise I think I've ever seen.
Yeah,
So
it's the
that's
go.
quite cute. Love the design of the minecart madness. That looks cool. Honestly, the whole
Yeah,
area looks pretty awesome.
it's so funny that we've been kind of seeing bits and pieces of this ride for so long, like the prototype, the production model, that paperwork and everything that showed you what the Minecraft was gonna work like, and like it's on a separate
Hmm.
rail and it jumps and something, and we still don't know. We still can't see it yet. Very soon we'll find out what that's all about. But I'm excited to see what people think of it.
There's definitely gonna be those. There's definitely those YouTubers out there who just have like, this is what it's like riding the ride.
Yeah, basically. Well, some people need that to see if they can like handle it physically and they don't get sick on it.
True, true. Oh, but it's also one of those things like it's gonna be a while till I get to Japan or anything like that. So this will give me a nice little taste, and it's a completely different experience actually playing it yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, they have a Ramby set up. Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah, the Ramby portion. You must summon the Ramby by playing the jungle beat with yeah, why don't you check out the video? Maybe you can watch the video with Amy. It's a fun little watch with Miyamoto just kind of going through everything like a little kid at a park, which is basically what it is.
That's adorable. I want to get Kai to these. I think, especially with him, how big of a fan he is of Mario and Donkey Kong,
Oh, he loved that.
he'd be all about this. He would just be in heaven because um I don't think I got to tell this story, but on the GVG cast, but he went trick or treating as Mario this year, and our son Ryan loves dressing up as Luigi for Halloween. So when he saw that his that Ryan was dressed up as Luigi, he was like, I want to be with him. That I don't want to leave his side. And Ryan likes to go ahead and get candy as as quick as he can,
Hmm.
just stay ahead of the game, that sort of thing. So Kai would be running after him, going, "Wait for me, Luigi!" Which
Oh
it's
my
just
goodness.
it's like, okay, he'll be able to handle the characters roaming around. So
Good to
he'll
know.
see Mario, he will not want to leave his side.
That's
Oh
wonderful.
goodness. Mm,
Oh man. Well, let's
so,
see. I think we
uh,
I
I
think
was gonna say, is there any other major news you want to talk about, or should we go ahead and get to our patron questions?
there's nothing that really stands out to me that's major as far as this week goes. Yeah, I think we should start getting to our patron topics for this week and see what
Yeah.
we've got cooking.
The only thing I'll mention real quick is that if somehow you don't already own Half-Life 2, including episodes 1 and 2, they've just released a 20th anniversary thing where they're going over the production of it. I think it's like a full like fledged movie type thing. And Half-Life 2 and episodes 1 and 2 are free up until on Steam until the 18th. They have
Oh.
3 days at this point to get those. So if you haven't yet, it's a good game.
Yeah, there's some pretty juicy details in there as what John has mentioned to me about the Half-Life series. So definitely check that out if you're a fan. Definitely a lot of interesting tidbits and unreleased stuff that we haven't seen before in that video.
Yeah. So very cool. But yeah, let's go ahead and get to our patron topics. And Daniel, would you like to go first?
Yeah, mine comes from the Legend of Jess saying a two-parter if that's all right. What are your thoughts on the current update schedule for the new OSTs being added to Nintendo Music? And what's a game soundtrack you'd like to see added to the app that's lesser known or underrated? Um,
Hmm.
this is a question I had. A lot of us had at the very beginning when this app released. I'm just like, oh no, is this gonna be an NSO situation in which we get like one or two soundtracks per month or something? But no, day two of this app, they released Super Mario Brothers Wonder on there. That didn't come on release. That came out a day later, and then a few days after that was Donkey Kong Country 2: Diddy's Conquest, which is a pretty major soundtrack for a lot of people. There's a lot of wonderful tracks in there that they stand the test of time even today. David Wise's work on those soundtracks is incredible.
Oh,
Um,
seriously?
did you know that David Wise kind of figured that he was going to get replaced early on by a Japanese composer for these soundtracks?
Oh,
But
really?
the he did so well with, I think, the DK Island Swing, like one of the first themes. It was like he had three different songs um going in to as an example. And if you listen to DK Island Swing, you can hear all three parts of it. It's also the theme that you hear like in the very first Smash Brothers. The three movements are all fused together into one song, and David Wise was just kind of kept on to do a lot of the work after all. And he had some help from other people as well on that soundtrack. I go over this in my video. But yeah, by the time DKC2 came out, he was just the one person to work on that whole soundtrack. And so, yeah, it was he got to flex
Amazing.
quite a bit.
Yeah, no
but
kidding.
as for the schedule,
Hmm.
I think it's looking promising. Like it's
It
probably gonna
seems to
take
be one a week so far.
more or less, yeah. There's some soundtracks that are being added at about that pace. There's no set format, I don't think. It's not like I guess every few days or so, but maybe once a week, as you're saying. But it's promising. If it's just one a week, sure. I mean, it's gonna take a while till we can get to some of the major ones that people really want, I think. But the starter pack, if you will, is pretty competent. It's got like one of every major series of Nintendo from like Mario, Zelda, Fire Emblem, Animal Crossing, Splatoon, Pokemon, even. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, um, it,
Hmm.
it I think it's looking pretty good from here. What's your opinion
Yeah,
on
it seems
the
it seems fun.
release?
I've not actually downloaded the app yet, but what I've seen so far seems good. It seems relatively competent. If as long as it needs to be a consistent stream, as long as they maintain that, I think it's good. It can't be just once a month type thing. Um,
Oh, I see. It
I don't
looks
think
like
that'll.
MRX saying it's looking like every Monday. So if that's the case, I'm looking forward to every Monday then. Hopefully they keep that schedule. Maybe sometimes they'll release more than one a week. Who knows if Nintendo's feeling generous? But yeah, I hope
Hmm,
they keep
it's-
that schedule up.
sure. Trying to think, because the other part of the question is what lesser known soundtracks would you want? And obviously, I've seen so many people say I want Xenoblade, and yeah, but I also don't think that's lesser known. So I'm like trying to think of my NES games or Nintendo games. 'Cause I'm going to go off the idea that it's first party. I'm like, what lesser known first party Nintendo games would work for this?
That's a big all any Xenoblade game has a big soundtrack, and that's gonna come eventually.
Hmm.
But
For sure.
I
I can
think
see them releasing Xenoblade 1 when X comes out or something like that.
I can see that happening. I'll think of one.
Mm.
Uh, one that I really would like to see is the F-Zero GX soundtrack for GameCube. That was done
Oh,
by
nice.
there was a lot of people, a lot of people that worked on Super Monkey Ball also worked on F-Zero GX. Funny enough, because it's also a game by Sega who helped develop that one in particular, and that
Hmm.
is a fantastic soundtrack. If you want those electronic beats, I was totally into that way back then. I still am now. You probably have heard some of them if you've played Super Smash Brothers, anything really from Brawl and onward, because it has those some of those tracks on the Corktown Aerodive stage. But the full
Hmm.
soundtrack is wonderful. I love hearing those kind of chill electronic beats and jams, and there's just such a variety on there, and that's just the kind of vibe that they went for when you're racing at high speeds. And it's so cool that like you're racing, and then on the third lap the music changes. It's a different song, but it does evolve from there, and it's plays to the end. It's something that it's like they do that in Mario Kart too. Actually, when you get to the final lap of like Big Blue, for example, the song changes, and so they kind of kept that
Hmm.
theme, that kind of thing, thematic to the F Zero franchise, which I really appreciate. But yeah, that's one I think. And funny enough, another one that I could think of is the Super Mario Maker soundtracks, because people always think
Oh,
about they always think about like the main themes you hear on the stage, but then there's like the menu themes, there's the stage builder themes that play in the background. They're very just very chill, and they're very weird, and it kind of goes with the music, because like when you're putting blocks down, the notes will change as you're when you're putting it. It's like block 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 when they do that, but the music behind it, I love hearing that in the background. People don't really pay attention to that because they're so busy actually focusing on making a stage, but I think that's a bit
hmm.
underrated as well. And also
I'm,
just the fact that they also created themes that normally weren't there, like a sky theme for the original Mario Brothers
oh
one as
yeah.
well. Or yeah, just think about ones from then, or like a snow theme for Super Mario World specifically. Just it was really creative to see them go back and retroactively imagine what would this sound like if this came out on the NES or the Super Nintendo. And I think that's a really underrated soundtrack to listen through. I hope that shows up very soon too.
I'd agree with that one. I'm actually gonna take Last of the Red Roses idea. I like it because it is one of those things you don't think about, but the soundtrack is pretty solid. Endless Ocean. I don't know if they'll get the vocal tracks in
Oh,
there because those are from actual bands, but even just Oh, the music, man, that is totally music to chill to. You put in, you just vibe.
Oh yeah, that's my
So
whole
I think
theme. I love that kind of music.
so. I feel like that could actually do well. I don't know if it'll excite people, but I think it would definitely get people talking a little bit, or maybe even checking it out. If they're really into the app, it's like I'm going to listen to all the music that's on the app as it comes out. Maybe I'll discover something new. That'd be a good opportunity to sort of introduce Endless Ocean to them, being like, "What the heck is this?"
the
Um,
the endless ocean in particular, like the music like that is very suited for the expand feature, in which you can play the songs for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour long.
yeah.
That's I've been using that feature a lot actually, and it's very handy to not just press back over and over again to play a song again. Uh,
Hmm.
play like
Or leave it on repeat or anything like that.
the forest temple from Ocarina of Time on loop with 30 minutes or something, and then you just kind of vibe out.
I look at my collection to see if there's any other ideas. Lesser known ones. I saw somebody mention Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Oh
That
yeah, yeah.
I guess that's possible. Is it being with
I It is with Atlas, but I wonder if I mean they do own Fire Emblem as well, but I wonder like how close we can get to like third party titles like that. It's probably as viable as like Mario plus Rabbids, I guess, because they're not technically made by Nintendo specifically, but they're with their IP. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see if
yeah,
they'll show up because it's still licensing stuff at the end of the day.
it's a little odd, but eh. Um, I think of any other songs that would catch my interest. Like I think a lot of the times with this sort of thing, I do just go by the wait and see, you know,
Hmm.
method. It's like let's see what they put out there and give it a listen. Will they surprise me? We'll find out.
Yeah.
So far,
Looking
it's pretty much what you'd expect.
I'm looking forward to seeing more. Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for the question.
Yeah, thank you. My question this week comes from Eric, who says, if you could come up with one non Mario, Zelda, or Pokemon attraction or show at Super Nintendo World, what would it be? For example, the octopus from Game & Watch and Smash Brothers as a wave swinger ride. I thought this was fun,
Oh
especially
yeah.
because I figured we'd be talking about um, uh, Donkey Kong and whatnot. So I was thinking about this as like, what would be a good ride for this? And first thing, some kind of laser tag esque thing involving Splatoon, I think could be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. That sounds
I'm not sure
fun.
exactly how they would do it, but it just feels like that is so well set up for that idea.
Mhm. Yeah, that's, 'cause how would they do that, I wonder?
Oh no, that's the tricky thing is I'm not sure how he would do it. Um, I see Claxton was saying a Metroid ride would be my idea. I mean, I I don't know if we'd ever see Metroid there because I feel like it'd be a repeat of um oh man, if I was going to do a Metroid ride, it'd basically be a Metroid reskin of Disney's old Alien Attack ride. Did you ever get the chance to ride that, Daniel?
I
Do
don't
you know
think
what
I
that
have.
is?
I've heard of that.
So yeah, the original Alien Attack, which I was fortunate enough to ride when I was go on when I was a kid. Basically, they're going through and talking about this how they've captured an alien, just going over setting up the whole story of this thing, and you get into the main portion of the room, and you just sit in a seat and you're just there, and it simulates the idea of like here's this scary looking alien. Oh crap, something's gone wrong. Power's gone out. It escapes and it's roaming the halls. It's like slinking up next to you, and they have these elements that make it feel like it's right next to you, so you can like feel some breath on your neck or a little lick on the back, like it feels like something licked you or something like that, or something dripped on you, and it's like, oh god, it's near me. It was truly freaky, but doing something like that for Metroid with the Metroids or Ridley or just a whole bunch of different ones, it could be a lot of fun. Or you could go the more typical route and have like join Samus and as she flies around and fights a bunch of different Metroid bosses. That's the more typical one, but man, an alien encounter type one, that'd be cool.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Yeah. Are you sure you don't want a Metroid attraction where there's three people to a team and they're passing it back and forth and you just call it blast ball? No. No, that would make me angry.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that sounds way better than ideas I was trying to think of in the middle of brainstorming this idea real quick. Is that your
Mm.
main one? Is that the one you would have on there?
Yeah, now I thought about it, like went through it further. Yeah, I think that Metroid a la Alien Encounter would be my top one. It'll never happen. It's too scary. They won't be able to get kids on it, and that's not
Oh,
exactly Nintendo themed. Like you see Nintendo stuff and be like, I don't know. It feels like a little too scary.
probably. Man. What did I have in mind? There's a few I had in mind. Some of them were easier to imagine than others. Something that's like a mix of a carts but bumper car ride, but it's F-Zero. And we're going back to F-Zero again. Here we go again. But like, yeah, because you're meant to be aggressive when racing, so it'd be like a cart ride, but also bumper cars, so that you would like forcibly be encouraged to bump into your allies or your enemies rather on the field, and maybe there's like an option to do a little spin. Who knows? Depends how
Mm.
versatile it is. Like I guess there'd be four characters for each one. It'd be a death race mode.
I
I don't know if anyone's gonna die, but you know they want to go that
yeah.
hard. Um,
I know they said no Zelda stuff, but give Zelda a water ride featuring Wind Waker.
oh, that'd be
Everybody gets their own King of Red Lions, and you get something a la Yana's Bayou Adventure that it is now.
Oh man, there's like I don't know how many boats are in the queue that's all lined up, but on one of the boats you have Makar on the lid on the head of the King of Red Lions, like when you're about to take him to the Wind Temple. There's just like one of them that
Yeah,
has Makar on it. Another one might have like Medley on the side. Who knows? Yeah,
exactly.
that'd
Just
be cute.
have a fit one of the map fish hang out on one, and you go just the idea of having this boat ride going through and seeing all these wonderful creations of the Zelda characters would be so cool. I don't know if they go for the Wind Waker style, but I feel like it would be really fun.
This is a cursed thought, but I thought about the little boat tour ride from Majora's Mask, where half of it is literally through a poisonous swamp. Be like, don't get off the ride, anybody. You look up and there's like a massive moon on the side. That'll scare them.
That'd be freaky.
Uh,
Um, I see. I just had the thought of the guy that goes kaboom as different like cannons to go next to you.
boom, sploosh.
Sploosh.
That'd
It's
be
coming from the speakers.
that'd be incredible. Oh yeah, you could have like it could be part like I don't know about shooting. I don't know how you could do anything that incorporates like shooting while you're on the ride, but you could do that too and just have like the sploosh kaboom guy as well be on there. That'd be fun. Oh, I
Um,
I
what
guess as far
else?
as like attractions go, this isn't like anything groundbreaking or anything, but there'd be like a place to rest for food. If you just called the Roost, just the Roost Cafe would be there as
There you
well.
go.
Get some coffee there. There'd be some. It'd model it a lot like how it is in New Horizons. That'd be pretty nice actually. Play the
I
music in the
just I just
background.
got I just had another idea. Have you ridden Soren at Disney?
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah, we have
That
California Soarin'.
yes, that except a little bit more intense. Ace it off of Kid Icarus Uprising.
I
So
had
you're
a
flying along with Pit and having all that stuff go around you as you're doing the Soren type thing. That'd be cool.
I had a feeling you were going for Kid Icarus, and that makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah, it's just the any of the on rail sections, maybe the one with Greedy with the World Seed, that'd be pretty epic too. Because you see everyone
Mhm.
fighting, and then in the back, in the way far back, you see the world reset, and then you're going through the woods and everything with
Mhm.
Palutena kind of guiding
And
you.
you already have like Pit talking to you and have like just have Alutena's commentary coming through the speakers near you and have like Pit talking back to you. You could
Hmm.
imagine it.
That sounds fun. Oh man, I want to go on that
Mhm.
now.
Yeah.
Uh,
What kind of Fire Emblem attraction would you make?
oh my gosh, what even would we do with Fire Emblem? It's hard to imagine something medieval for this kind of area. Uh,
Yeah.
there's
Hmm.
like a little rest area, and you can play chess, and the chess pieces are all Fire Emblem characters. I don't know actually. That's hard to put into one specifically. I did have
Hmm.
one more idea, which is a little more out there, like an actual idea.
Okay.
Uh, have you been have you ever seen, it was a California adventure called World of Color?
I think so.
It's like
It's been a
essentially,
while.
yeah, it's like a crazy water show with music, and it's a bunch of colors
Oh,
showing
yes.
and all of that. And it'd be cool if there's some maybe it's in there's one of the attractions in Disney World in which they use the water as the screen, so you can watch like things. The images will appear on there as well, and
Mhm.
so uh theme it. What if it had an electroplankton theme to it instead? Electroplankton World of Color, but
Oh my God.
it's all the plankton there, but they're playing a bunch of Nintendo music and scenes instead that you see through
Mm.
the images that's seen on the water itself. And so you get like classic
Yeah, I
scenes
thought you
of
were going to
like
go with
still.
Splatoon. I was thinking since the World of Color, I thought you were going to go with Splatoon on that one. But yeah, Electroplankton is a bit more unique.
That's there too, yeah. Like everything that's very colorful, I think you can go for that. Pikmin can be on there because then you have the different colors of Pikmin that show as well, and it could be very like nature focused. You have
Mhm.
like, yeah, Splatoon is very colorful, so you would have that. Obviously, like things like Mario. It's kind of a cop out because you're showing all these different franchises, but it'd be cool to see that with to like the water also pulsating and moving to the beats of the music. I think that'd be super yeah, super interesting to look at. But I mean, Splatoon can be involved as well. That'd be cool to
Right,
see
right.
as to see on there. I see screenshots of World Color. I'm just like, dang, yeah, you could do pretty much anything with this kind of format.
Hmm. They need the California Adventure used to have Mad Hatter's Tea Party, which is sort of like a club, outdoor club area where you could drink and whatnot. So I'm trying to think of something akin to that for a Nintendo property, and it was like, which one would work best? And honestly, give me a KK slider show, like show we can like it's nice, neat little bar setting, or sure, give us a coffee shop with Brewster, whatever. But I feel like something that sort of matches it the most. It's more. It's aimed a slightly more to adults, but kids can still enjoy it.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
think something like Brewster's would probably work, and having might be a pain for the servers, but having them come dressed out as different Animal Crossing characters.
Oh,
Your server is Isabelle.
I
Your
get
server is
I get to meet Tom
whoever.
Nook finally.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
uh, Bayonetta bar house. I don't think we're getting Bayonetta.
That'd
Oh,
be
Majora's Mask milk bar. There we go.
oh yeah, the milk bar. Why not? Get some
Yeah.
Chateau Romani for the adults. For the adult milk.
Oh man. Which Before we end it off, which Nintendo property would have the best food?
Which one would have the best food? Hmm.
Yeah, what would where would we get the best kind of food from?
I was gonna be
I
cheeky
guess
and I was gonna be cheeky and say cooking mama. But
if only that was actually owned by Nintendo.
yeah. Uh I mean, I feel like you can kind of sell it with Zelda because of all the food that Link can make now in Breath of the Wild
Yeah,
and Tears
Breath
of
of
the
the Wild
Kingdom.
does sort of.
It
You're
kind
right.
of
It does.
but yeah, we
Kirby's also up there.
Kirby's got his own cafe. You know, he's doing fine with his own business ventures. Leave some room for the others. But yeah. Oh yeah, Echoes of Wisdom smoothies, as VG Fanatic is saying too. So yeah, you got the
Yeah,
section
I'm down for
for
smoothies.
yeah, you got the section for food and then smoothies on the side. That's pretty much it. With Tay next thing's Mario Party meat, obviously.
I
Why does the food in Mario Party always look so good though?
don't know. They pull it off somehow. But yeah, that was. I thought it would be a fun question. It's fun to brainstorm that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think
absolutely.
that'll about do it for this episode of the GVG Cast 121. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Really do appreciate it. Glad to be back. Don't know if I'll be able to be still be consistent or anything like that, but I will do my best. But of course, I want to give a special shout out and thank you to all of our producers at the producer tier at our Patreon of our Patreon. This we really wouldn't be able to do this without all of you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting us all this time. And of course, an extra special thank you to all of our executive producers, and they include Brandon Bovia, Fangs, OG Pepsi Dealer, Z Patty, Sky Blue Flames, Eastman 23, Adam O'Sullivan, Richard Herrera, Logan Daniel, The D-Pad, Blake, Joy Content, Angel Martinez, Vedron, Joshua Hunter, Benny Yao, Azran127, Nikki Griffin, Wataniac, Top Dog 23 Young Ben Kenobi, Andrew Medeiros, Becca, A608, Michael McCall, Matthew Wong, Goron Amber CPHT, Too Much Spaghetti, Bane 400, Ascaron 809, Rioner, The Game Orb, Super Gamer Dude 101, Rosa Pardo Bowling, hey Steve's mom, Darksteel 01, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Cystic Warrior 29, Derek, Colin, Blaystar 25, Twilord, Jackomon, Mumbling Yeti, Cameron Sharp, Heel, Hustlebun, Noah Fitterer, Calvin Atkinson, Brainchild, Nim Wakelin, Aramis Baramis, Lord Metarex, Blaze Collard, Eric, CatEV Person 5, Mega Beatman True Blue Reviews, Ryan Hanley, The Game Jamie, Zombie Joe, and Marathon Max. Thank you all so much for your support. Really do appreciate it. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I suppose we will see you next week for episode 122 of the GVG Cast. So until then, everyone, have a great night. Good vibes.
Till we meet again.